In 2014, we interviewed 11 individuals in their 30s who were born at the extremes of prematurity, weighing fewer than 2 pounds at birth. To our knowledge, it was the first time that a group of former premature adults who were followed longitudinally from birth to adulthood were able to express their life aspirations, achievements, and challenges in their own words. This video was viewed worldwide, and the impact of their stories on preemies, health professionals, and the general public was immeasurable. As expected, a decade later in 2024, there have been many changes in the lives of these participants who are now in their 40s. Changes in their careers, physical and mental health, and all aspects of family life, including parental death, have changed the landscape of their lives. Bear in mind that these participants were born in the early era of neonatal intensive care between 1977 and 82, and the preponderance of visual problems is reflective of the pre-cryotherapy and pre-laser therapy era. These same 11 participants generously and candidly described the impact of prematurity, their goals and achievements then and now, as well as in the future. Although these health issues may appear to overshadow their achievements, they show amazing courage and resilience, and by and large, a significant majority of ELVW adults are living fulfilling and productive lives. I am deeply indebted to the former preemies for so generously participating in this video and once again sharing their lives with the world. At a personal level, I'm in awe and admiration of these wonderful individuals who face life's challenges with grace and fortitude and provide inspiration to future preemies, parents, and health professionals for generations to come. Thank you.
I guess in the last 10 years, in some respects, not a lot has changed.
I'm learning more new things at home. Yes.
I'm really happy with my life.
Well, the last 10 years have been good in terms of life in general. There have been some changes in health and career, but other than that, life has been, in general, very good.
Wow, okay. Well, I got a new job a couple years ago, so that's been the major change for me. I've taken up art in the last several years, so I paint now. That came about because my mother passed away in the last 10 years. So, I was a writer before and I stopped writing then. So I took up art as something else to do. And then the pandemic happened, and as I live alone, I spent a lot of time by myself. So that's really the last 10 years.
My life is totally different than it was 10 years ago. Everything has changed. So career, family, where I'm living, which country I'm living, everything has changed.
So our family life 10 years later it's very good. We've grown up together. We've weathered the pandemic together. We have accumulated more pets.
Well, there's been some ups and downs. It's been one of the things where I've become a parent. I've advanced in my career. We've had some family ups and downs over the years, but it's been a fairly good cycle.
Unfortunately, I'm no longer married, so that's kind of a big change for me, but doing what I can to move on through that. So still lucky enough to have my kids live at home with me, so that's nice. They're now 27 and 24, so But yeah, they're still a piece of the home, so that's nice.
My mom passed away, and I went back to school. So I changed careers, and I had gone back to school in my 40s.
I've been working for a little while. I'm doing an apprenticeship at a place called Balance, which is similar to the CNIB, but they are out of Toronto and they're expanding. So I'm doing tech support there, and I'm enjoying that. So after that's finished, I'm looking for more work. My family and I see each other once a week. They're close by. You know, in reflecting on my law career over the years, I feel blessed and lucky that I'm able to have the kind of career I have, and that it is incredibly intellectually fulfilling.
We got married in November of 2014. So we all went to Cuba. It was 24 of us who had gone, yes. So it was like friends and family. My husband's family, they're like my second family. So we all go so basically when we got married, we traveled again the following year, all of us, my aunts, my uncles, his parents. So we all get along.
I had a daughter in 2015, and that was a great, and that has been a great journey. At the same time, I went through a marriage breakdown in 2016, so that was a bit difficult, and that was 2 years of kind of ups and downs as well, to get that kind of sorted out. But once that was sort of sorted through, and I was thankfully able to maintain a relationship with my daughter through that whole process and kind of get through everything. Once I got through that breakdown process and was really able to establish, have those kind of necessary things reestablished, I was able to kind of reorient myself and reorient my goals.
Because my disability has gotten worse because of aging, I now live in a group home called LARS. I went to NSCC, Nova Scotia Community College, because I wanted to be a nursing school teacher at one point. I really like university, and in a way, it's following my parents' legacy, because both my mom and dad were university professors. I feel more feeling happy than 10 years ago, because I really love being part of the university. And also, whenever I go to school, I walk into the campus building and I hear in my head, "We're so proud of you," and I'm convinced that my mom and dad know that I'm a university student, even though they're not here anymore.
Oh, he does an awful lot. He cooks, he loves football games, he could tell you all the players, and he does an awful lot more now. An awful lot more for myself and for us. It's he's sort of taken over a lot of stuff that we normally would do and that we can't do anymore.
It makes me feel very good to take over the duties and responsibilities that my parents are showing me on what to do and how to do things.
That's good.
In a proper sequence.
So 10 years ago, I was working at the University of Ottawa at the Office for Students with Disabilities. And in July of 2021, I got the news that my job was abolished. I did complete a master's degree at the University of Ottawa while I was there, because I was able to, because you're an employee there, you could have your studies for free, so no tuition fees. So I did a master's in education. And then in November 2022, I got a job a permanent job at the Consortium Centre Jules Léger. So it's a school for blind and low vision kids to have classes there. So my job now is to produce all the Braille documents for the kids. And I've known this school for quite a while, because when I was in school, they would come to me and we, they would do visits and do assessments and recommendations on equipment and whatever. So I've been really attached to the school, and now to work there is kind of for me, I feel that I'm really helping out the kids and really helping them learn a code, because Braille is a code and not a language, that will impact them in adulthood too.
My daughter, which is not technically my daughter, is my ex's daughter. She's stayed and lived with us, or with me and my son. So a lot of people are surprised by that, and I've never treated her as any other than my daughter as well. So it's been an interesting scenario. So both my kids, they both have really decent jobs, both have factory jobs, and they seem to like the steady work, and there's plenty of work in factory jobs, so they don't have to worry about when they have to worry whether or not they have work, which is nice. Very, very proud. As a parent, of course, there's always that little thing here and there that kids do that's like, oh, well, I wish you didn't do that. But I mean, that I chalk that up as, as part of raising kids and whatnot, right?
Well, I certainly, I've reached all of my goals, I think I could say. I had that itch. I had to go out and see the world, and I had to do my doctoral studies, and I did it, and I passed my Viva. And I've done some amazing things. I taught at universities. Yeah, so I'd say I've met all of my goals. And then beyond that, I met my life partner, and we got married. And and I have a beautiful little girl in my life. And I think the last interview I might have mentioned I wasn't sure if I wanted children. And something just clicked.
So one of my main hobbies is fishing. I fish when I can. With a friend of mine in Hamilton, we go fishing quite often when we can. I also fish with my dad when I can as well. He's also been, a big time fisherman his whole life. So my main hobbies are aquariums, which I mentioned about our pets. So we have lots of fish, and we actually have a pond in our backyard as well. We have fish, we have a rabbit, we have guinea pigs, we have cats, we have lots of animals. So we love our pets.
I didn't really consider myself an artist until I moved into Larth. That's a picture I painted of my late dad, and were colored with pastels, drew with pastels. It's a picture of my late dad and I at one of the Special Olympic ceremonies. My favorite memory of my late dad was when I was got into the nationals with the Special Olympics for the first time. Yeah. He came every time I was in a swim meet, and every time I was up at the podium.
My family life has changed significantly in the last 10 years because as I was mentioning, my mother passed away, and she passed away very suddenly, so it was unexpected. And so that I always knew that event had the ability to either make or break my siblings and I, and it was sort of okay, how is this gonna go? But it brought us closer together, which was a good, I don't want to say it was a good thing, but it was a good thing in the end.
So over the last 10 years, physically, I think I've been pretty healthy overall. I've had, the biggest thing, I suppose, and this really has just happened in the last couple of years, has been my eyesight's gotten significantly worse. I now have sort of an early onset cataract in the eye that I had the retinal detachment, and that is likely also as a result of my prematurity. So don't have children. And it's interesting. I don't exactly know. I would say growing up, I never felt I wanted children. And in part, I was always told that for me to have, especially after I had my significant eye issues with my retina, that for me to have children naturally would be could be problematic, just given my eye history. So that was something that I certainly thought about in terms of whether or not I was going to have children. But then I think for a lot of it, it was also lifestyle choice. With my career being as demanding as it was, it just never felt like there was time. So I think I guess it's been a little bit of both.
I had decided to kind of like up my exercise routine around in January of 2020 because I just wasn't, I was putting on weight, I was, aging, and I'm like, okay, I just don't, there wasn't any health scares or anything like that. I was just generally like, I don't like the way I look. I'm kind of feeling sluggish. This is not going to be good for me if I let this sit, for like 5 or 10 years or something like that. So I'm like, okay, let me like watch my diet. Let me start working out more. But yeah, I definitely feel better. Which is key.
I'm still mobile. I'm still, I'm not using a chair or anything like that. I'm still walking. But like I fall a lot from a balance thing and from the way I walk. The two things don't do me favors. So I don't, and pun intended, I don't bounce back from that as well as I used to. So, right? I have been diagnosed with anxiety and depression. No big surprise to anybody who knows me. So they're like, yeah. So it's taken some adjustments, some medication, some therapy, a lot of work.
My health has been the same. I haven't had anything drastic change, except for like usual stuff, like being sick, cold, sinusitis, which I always get. In 2019, I found out that I had hip dysplasia, so I was really in pain, and my right leg was just causing me a lot of trouble. I had really a lot of trouble walking. So the day before the pandemic hit, I got my hip replaced. And I think it was because of the paralysis too. Like it was because I've got CP on the right side. And then in 2023, I found out I had type 2 diabetes. So that was, that's kind of, and apparently it is prevalent among premature babies. So that's not surprising. But I do have high blood pressure. That's a family thing. So I had to buy, a pressure monitor and that kind of stuff.
Yes, I have high blood pressure. I now need reading glasses when I read. So, and also, because of aging and CP, I now have bladder issues.
Ivan's had hypertension actually his entire life. I think it started when he was born.
Some things have improved. So I don't know if I mentioned last time that I have iritis, which is an inflammation of the iris. We don't know if the iritis is connected to my prematurity.
My seizures started in 2007, I believe, and they might have been due to stress. I don't know. And then they've gotten worse since then. And my lack of memory is due to the seizures because my neurologist told me that it's already degrading. And so we've managed to get my seizures down to 3 a week. That's still not ideal. I take some medication. I'm very sensitive to a lot of it, so a lot of it has not reacted well. So I take one. And then I've been taking cannabis, very small amounts, because that helps, especially when I need to work. There's certain strains that will help me. The seizures make me very drained if I have one in the morning. So that helps make me feel better and less dizzy. And they happen in the evening as well. So sometimes I take something to sleep.
So being a preemie, to me, it's not something you ever forget about. Because it is part of my identity. It has, at least in the past, it created physical challenges. I think I don't really most of those physical issues have kind of sorted themselves out. I mean, the only thing I don't really do these days is drive.
I don't identify as a preemie as much as other people might, just because I don't have the physical complications that other people experience. And I think it was a big part of my kid life, like being a kid. But then when I went to school, and it was just kind of in the background, like it wasn't as big in my life as it had been before.
I don't. On a regular basis, I feel like a regular individual. I don't feel like I'm part of this group, only because I haven't been born with a lot of the setbacks, let's say, that are commonly included with that. So on average, I don't feel any different than most people.
We haven't really talked about the stigma. It's very difficult. How can I put it? It's very difficult for Ivan to live a normal life without him being classed as autistic in that sense. And I think Ivan wishes so many times that he would be just normal.
If someone were to ask me my life story, definitely that it would be a part of it. But what does come into my mind generally is the visually impaired / blindness, since that's the first thing people see. It's not, I'm a woman, it's you're blind. So that is the thing that I'm defined as, and that it's not a great thing. But so no, I don't really, it's not a day-to-day thing that I identify with being a preemie.
It's not a part of my thoughts very often, but on the other hand, I just met a classmate in my class of 200 students who was also a preemie, so that was kind of neat.
I think about it more like when I go to the eye doctor for a checkup, that kind of thing. Or obviously when I was going through the retina laser work I had to have and the cataract surgery, that period of time is when it kind of hit me the hardest, that, I've got, this is a direct consequence of me being born, 4 months early, and I've got these issues.
Yeah, being a preemie is part of my identity, definitely. My parents say that that's what gave me my fighting spirit, that I'm not a quitter, I don't give up.
As I stated before, sort of indirect, I identify very heavily as a person with a disability because my cerebral palsy impacts my everyday life. So via that, I identify as a preemie, and it's a strong part of my identity. The biggest impact of being a preemie itself has been on my vision. And so I have retinopathy of prematurity, which means I've had retinal tears and I've had to have laser surgery. But what also I discovered in the last 10 years is that I have cataracts. Had cataracts. Yes, I had cataracts. They fixed them. And well, they fix your cataracts. They fix your vision. So now I might get emotional. For the first time in my life, I can see 20/20.
I hope life in the next 10 years looks similar to where it is now, where I'm growing up with my family, enjoying family time and our home and our pets and our families as well. So I'm hoping things were as good in 10 years as they have been up till now.
I think my main focus is still going to be a dad. I mean, in 10 years from now, I'm going to have a kid who's in university. So obviously that is going to shift.
I think I feel more fulfilled than I did 10 years ago. I hope that will continue. But I suppose I'll have to do the work to make sure that continues.
Well, hopefully I'm still here in 10 years. Yeah, hopefully my health is still good, and my friends and family. Obviously, in 10 years, things will happen. I don't know. I think obviously advance in my career, but think about retirement, like what I want to do after work, I think, because in 10 years, I'll be almost at retirement age.
Just wondering if he would ever make it. Wondering what's going to become of him. What's going to happen in his life. He's got a wonderful sister, and we know she'll be there for him. And once we're gone, she'll be there for him. She'll take care of him.
Now I need to get, the tools that I need to foster independence too, right? So that's like super important too. I have a brother, but I mean, he won't be there, he's got a life too. He's got, his life too. And I mean, I don't want to depend on him either, right? So I think that I'm thinking more and more of being, the most independent as possible.
I hope I'll still be walking as an activist and as active as I can be, even if I have to go in a wheelchair. As long as I'm still moving, I'll be happy.
I feel like my life has gotten richer. I don't know if I could say, just because happiness is, it's more a choice than a feeling. So I don't know if I can say that it's increased, but it's gotten richer.
I'd like to say that there's, as far as faith goes, I have a lot of questions right now just because of, what I'm going through with my separation, but you move forward with faith and keep that, and grow stronger in that. So, I'd say I'm happy with who I am. I just, improve little things here and there.
99% of the time, I feel content with who I am and what I'm doing. It would be nice to, have someone to share that with, but, it is what it is currently. That's the only spot in life where I don't feel fulfilled. Like my career, while it's interesting, it is fulfilling. Where I'm working right now is my dream job, ultimately. And my hobbies is mostly painting and writing, and I paint all the time. I'm not married, I don't have kids, so I have the time. So I can paint for hours a day, and that's always fun. So, and I have my animals, and, I hit the gym every once in a while. And, I volunteer for things, so I feel well-rounded and complete.
So I've always been pretty happy, but I do have a bit of anxiety, so I do take a medication for anxiety. So I guess I fall into that sort of cohort that has more anxiety or more higher chance of anxiety than non-preemies. I think things worked out pretty well. I've had a pretty good life so far. Things have been good. I've been happy, enjoying my hobbies and family and that kind of thing. So I think things have been good.
Oh, I'm so proud of him. He's just amazing. He's amazing. He's amazing health-wise. He's amazing happiness-wise. He's amazing.
I think things are generally happy. I wish I could have a chance to have more of a social life, but it is difficult. It always has been difficult to interact with people because of the whole, I think, it's a stereotype or it's hard. People find it very difficult if you can't give eye contact. And so they will often ask the person with you. And that frustrates me a lot, and it always has. So I tend to get very frustrated with that, so that kind of dampens some of the happiness, but
my mental health, there's been ups and downs, particularly when my parents passed, but I've been really happy. I think my parents did a really good job of raising me, because even though I have a disability, I've never considered myself a disabled person. I think I'm like the same as everyone else. I just have to do things a bit differently.